Hi, my name is Laura Joseph with Healing with Spirit, and I'm here today to share with you 3 lessons that 2019 taught us. 3 things to know about navigating the energies of 2020 and what it all means. So this is a lot of information. So this is actually going to be part 1 of 3 videos. That way you can kind of sift through the portions that seem to resonate with you the most. So this is video 1, and we're going to talk more about the reflection of what I've been reflecting on and what 2019 taught us. And there were many lessons that 2019 taught us, but I'm only going to focus on 3 of those. And video 2 is going to talk about why spiritual bypassing our way through life will actually no longer be working as an what I like to call as an addictive crutch moving forward. And video 3 will be addressing 3 things to know about the 2020 energies moving forward and what it all means. So, the reflecting. I wanted to say Happy New Year. It's hard to believe it's 2020 when we look at 20 years ago with, this whole thing about the 2000 stuff. So, but for me, this is a time of year where I like to press pause. I like to go within. I process lessons. Actually, I've been processing the lessons of 2019 and the past decade while acknowledging all the gifts and blessings received. And I do ask the divine within me to help me find out what the 2020 and the next decade is asking of me moving forward. So I feel into those blessings. I feel into that chaos. I allow that wisdom from my ancestors and my divine team, I like to call it, to be openly received. And one of the things I have learned is through the years is that, you know what? Change is constant in the grand scheme of the universe, okay? And in 2019, it was a big year for change and transformation for a lot of individuals. And where we pause for a powerful punch moving into 2020. So are you ready? Okay, so I don't do resolutions. I don't know if you do, but instead I like to reflect, as I said before. And as I sit here reflecting on the past decade, the first thing I want to acknowledge is that I wouldn't be here without you. So I would like to just thank you for supporting me in my journey, this whole journey of mine that's been ever evolving, that ended up turning into a business on its own over the years with basically 2 major things I was focused on. And one was, how do I fix the broken me and restore wholeness in my life? And the desire to help others in their path, especially those that may have been abused, neglected, those without a voice, or those even faced with end of life. And so it's taken me all this time. I've been trying to figure out how to move forward and make sure my vision was clear over the last couple months. And it's taken me a while. So now it's January 3rd and I'm going in, here I am. And I was chuckling with a client of mine this week saying, geez, the universe just does not know that it's a new year, that it's a new decade, that, oh my gosh, I got to get this newsletter out and this forecasting done by January 1st. So I chuckle at that because I just have learned to flow. I have learned to just be in alignment with that flow. So here I am. I think I have everything together, which is why I feel like doing this in 3-part video is going to be important. So this time last year, and what I mean by last year, I mean November 2018 into January 2019, I did a series of videos. If you wanted to go into review, I will have the links in the description of the video. And where I did a lot of energy updates, where I was saying how the energies were about to disrupt, shift, and shake this whole paradigm. And this was a massive shift that we experienced where old belief systems and old patternings were shifted into new, more aligned ones. Many of us resisted and many of us aligned. And those that resisted are going to continue to find that challenge moving forward. So the year 2019 was clearly all about intertwining these lessons and growth in between while learning how to navigate this flow. Now, you might want to check out my post, What 2018 Taught Us, and the energy moving forward in 2019, and 6 tips to guide you, because it might help you understand things a bit more clearly moving forward. So I just wanted to mention that, and there will be a link in the comments, again, the description section there. So what did 2019 teach us, and what is in store for 2020? So last year was a 3-year numerology where we witnessed this whole phenomena of past, present, future colliding. All of our personal stuff, our generational stuff, our karmic stuff, our past life stuff, all coming to a head. All right, some of us were aware of it, others were not, and kind of got that, what I like to call wakey time. No more being asleep. We can no longer run away or seek an easier route, because the easier route really is about moving into our path of soul and what soul came here to do and be in this lifetime. So in 2019, we cleared out a lot of those old belief systems and patterns to make way for new. We connected deeper into our inner spirit, our soul, our divine, whatever you would like to use in terminology. We were forced to do the inner work for the opportunities to reveal themselves. We reconnected with all things divine. Again, there is an element where there are individuals that have resisted all of this. So keep this in mind, that there is an element, that there is a certain percentage of people that resisted this. But in the grand scheme of things, this was the overall energy that played out. We also saw a surge in returning to a lot of the sacred ancient teachings. And what I mean is a lot of the deeply rooted teachings that were not colonized, that were not whitewashed. Okay, these were very sacred ancient teachings. We also stepped away from ego, or at least understood where ego's role was and where that should reside. We also awoke to the whole collective need, and we integrated our shadows with our light. So there are many lessons, as I mentioned, that were taught in 2019, but I'm going to focus just on 3. And one of the first things we learned in 2019 is that not everything can be explained literally, materially, or physically in what I like to call this egoic, dominated material world. Nothing is as it appears, and when we can get out of our head and into our body more, which actually vibrates at the frequencies of soul, we actually shift things easily and effortlessly. Prior to all this, we were faced with blocks that were not moving. We sometimes feel like we were going in circles, and many times we faced resistance, we faced frustration, and we faced lack of answers. All right, so until that's what we were experiencing. One of the big areas that I saw a big shift was in the area of our health. And for those of us, we did see a surge of people getting chronically ill. But at the same time, sometimes our ailments or our illnesses taught us something that the Western modern medicine world could not explain or even heal. And we learned a lot about not to fear our illness or our disease, as it was used as a guidance tool, like a GPS system, to show us where we need to go and what we need to focus on. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves. Some of us have known this. Others have woken up to understanding this on a deeper level and got to experience it and understand this on a deeper level. So when we tapped into that divine innate wisdom that's within us, we actually heal things like magic, literally. Okay? That power, wisdom, answers that we seek resides within all of us. Okay? When we surrendered to that divine flow of things, things just moved, and we learned how to trust more in the unknown. We even learned that it's not about working harder, it's about mastering that flow. We can find out actually how tapped in we actually are into that flow, or are we still stuck into the land of the egoic material world? So this is where, again, that past, present, future was colliding. The generational shit, the past life shit, our own shit, our karmic shit. It all came up for clearing. It came up for release. It came up for us to make peace with. It came up to help us move into a place of empowerment and into a different role, what our soul came here to do. Okay, so that's lesson 1. The second lesson kind of piggybacks, and that second one is when we can step away from that story that was created by our own egoic mind, we can understand that our triggers were mere clues on the treasure map that resides within all of us, right? And we can be empowered beyond our expectations and our dreams. See, what we resisted continued to be persisted. And that's when we actually faced harsh realities and even harsher lessons. And we will continue to do that until we actually address those lessons. When we actually unplugged from the story, just enough to face those shadows, we can understand that there is nothing to fear but fear itself, and that fear will keep us trapped into that, what I like to call that bondage of the past. So if you want to free yourself from the chains that hold you from the past, then we need to kind of unplug from the story and try a different route. Not everything that is triggered also has to do with some deep personal trauma within you. Some of these triggers were due to the surfacing of a past life or a generational trauma clearing centuries worth of shit, okay? Now, thirdly, and this is going to be broken up into actually 2 videos. Thirdly, spiritual bypassing our way through life is no longer working. Hear me clearly. Spiritually bypassing our way through life is no longer working. We can not afford to spiritually bypass our way through life like an addictive drug moving forward. Doing the required inner work can no longer actually be avoided or just shoved under the carpet. You have to do that work. And I'm going to go more into what that looks like in video 2 when we go more into the spiritual bypassing and talk about why we can no longer do this in our life and what it all means. Okay, so this actually completes video 1. Video 2 will go more into what I just said and the why spiritual bypassing our way through life can no longer work. Video 3 will go into the 3 things to know about 2020 energies moving forward and what it all means. So I thank you for being a part of this, what I call grand experiment, what we call life, and supporting my work. Please leave your comments, your feedback, because it really means a lot to me to make sure that to see if you're in alignment with some of the things that we're discussing here. And I look forward to seeing you in video 2. Have a good day.